Welcome to Haken, an Animal Crossing podcast, your podcast dedicated to all things Animal Crossing. This episode is brought to you by Jillian Tufo, one of our newest Patreon patrons. Today, Sergio and I are going to talk about the Switch turning 2 years old, the amount of time it takes a console to get an Animal Crossing game, and Nintendo items we'd like to see in Animal Crossing Switch. So to begin, hello Sergio, how are you doing?
Hello Chewy, I'm doing really well. I'm very excited for a certain game that was announced this week. But how are you?
I'm doing well too. I'm also excited about this game. I guess I did want to start with like Nintendo stuff in general. So let's talk about this game. And what game was it that was just revealed, Sergio?
So the rumors were true, and they did announce the next generation, 8th gen of Pokemon games coming to the Switch later this year, Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield.
Yeah, and I was really glad that we actually got to see it because I was like, it's 7 minutes. I guess, what are they going to do in that short amount of time? But you did, I saw you pointed out that there were 3 Pokeballs on the little image that they showed us. And and you said we could be seeing the starters with that. And I was like, you know what? That's 100% right, Sergio. You're nailing it.
Yeah, and there were also rumors, not only that we were gonna be shown the game, but also that it was getting delayed. So I guess the rumor or the announcement won, and it's not getting delayed. It is coming out later this year.
Were there actual rumors that it was getting delayed? Because I was the one who was always like, you know what? Pokemon could get delayed into spring. I don't know. I guess I just didn't believe it,
Yeah, it was tough too, and I did hear that the Pokemon Company was sort of struggling a little bit. And Nintendo was kind of pushing them to get the game out. I guess obviously Nintendo wants a Pokemon game for the holidays, but yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, and having 2 holiday seasons with a Pokemon game, that's pretty big.
Yes.
Yeah, so what did you think of the look of the game and the starters and everything?
I think it looks awesome. So it looks like a really polished, really like embellished, sort of with an anime shader to Let's Go. So it looks even better than that. And that already looked really awesome. And so the world looks really detailed and very nice looking, very colorful.
Yeah, I'll say I was pretty happy with Let's Go, the visuals and everything about it. It always seemed like a little on the bright side of it. So the colors to me seemed like they were a little faded, like not really that pure color, more of a pale type of color scheme. But I do like what you're saying with like the changes to to everything to make it look the way it does. And yeah, I agree. I think it looks great. I've heard that people were disappointed that like it wasn't kind of a Breath of the Wild type of take to Animal Crossing, or not Animal Crossing, sorry. We talk about it so much, I instantly go to that. To Pokemon. So yeah, I think for me, I guess I wasn't expecting it because I wasn't even expecting for the game to come out in 2 years, let alone like be this huge game,
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like if we're going to get that Breath of the Wild style Pokemon, we're going to have to wait pretty long. Like Breath of the Wild itself got delayed like 3 times before we actually got it. So it was a long wait to see like Zelda completely reimagined.
Right.
Yeah. And Pokemon, like it still works. It still sells a lot every game that comes out. So I feel like right now they don't have too much of a reason to revamp it that way,
Yeah, definitely. So this is like a return to form or to the way we're used to playing Pokemon. But at the same time, I feel like the Let's Go series is going to be its own sort of side take on Pokemon, and they're probably going to be remaking the older generations in that style. And on top of that, you always have potential Pokemon spin-offs like the Mystery Dungeon, other Pokemon Ranger games. So they have plenty of tried and true formulas to keep giving us Pokemon games, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah, there definitely isn't only one type of Pokemon game at this point. We've always had the spin-offs. We've always had new things. I know you are really looking forward for Mystery Dungeon. I am too. I definitely want to see a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
Yes.
But yeah, I think overall, I'm hoping that the Let's Go style continues and they just redo all of the games in that style. I do appreciate, because, I've played them before. I've played all the mainline Pokemon games, and it's nice to have kind of a more compact, streamlined version of it. And
Yes.
so, and also Gen 2 is my favorite, so I need to see a Pokemon Let's Go Togepi and, I don't know, Houndour or something. just put in a random one out there. I think Togepi would be one for sure. I don't know what the second one would be.
That's a good one. I'm hoping for Pichu, but maybe someone else.
Oh, that's true. Pichu, they did add the baby Pokemon in that. Elekid. Elekid is so cool.
Oh, right.
Um, but yeah, so what did you think of the starters? Who are you picking?
Oh, I like them all a lot, and I'm definitely picking Scorbunny. Easy choice by far.
That's awesome. My pick is always easy because I'll tell you right now, I always start with the fire type. I
Ooh,
never go away from starting with the fire type. So I'm also starting with Scorbunny, but I do like them all. I think at first I thought they were
yes.
bland, but now I'm just like, you know what? I'm into it. And I always trade for all of them at the beginning anyway, so I kind of reduce the impact of me starting with any of them because I just have them all.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I do that too, and yeah, I just feel like it's a nice way to get to know all three or all nine of them if you think about the evolutions in your first playthrough, just in case something kind of doesn't click. Like that happened to me with Pokemon Sun. I got all those starters, and by the end, I didn't feel like playing Moon right away. So I'm kind of glad I did.
Yeah, and I do like that point about like getting to know them all because I remember when Fennekin came out and I was like, "Oh man, your evolutions are not my favorite." And
Yeah.
then I especially had an issue with like Brazen, the second
Mm.
evolution. And after I used Fennekin and got to it up to Brazen, I was very charmed by the Pokemon overall. I was like, oh, you have a little wand and you stick it in your tail and you pull it out to do your attacks. It's adorable. So I don't know. I think it's worth using them all and just getting to know like the Pokemon team. They work hard to really make a good character out of the
Yes.
Pokemon that they create. They make a lot of them really fit with the existing world,
Yes.
and uh, sometimes it helps to just like watch the newer anime, kind of see how all of the new Pokemon look alongside the older Pokemon. And then once you see that, I feel like it just clicks. It makes sense. I feel like the designs are sure kind of weird at first, but seeing it in action and in the world, I think you just get to that point where you're like, it works. It fits, and I'm happy about it.
Yes, and yeah, and to your point, we're gonna see them in action, doing animations, doing more sound effects, seeing them do the actual attacks that they have. It's just gonna give them a lot more personality, even though they already have a lot of it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's been a big step from those first games, and I know a lot of people are probably sad that it's not a bigger step away from the last game, but
Right.
each game gradually builds on what exists from those like really still sprites we got in the very beginning to now where they're actually lifelike and moving around while they're in their battles. I think that's
Yes.
awesome.
Yes, definitely. And I did want to discuss with you. So they did say it's coming out worldwide in late 2019, and us here in Haken, we're particularly interested in a little more detail because there's another game that we're looking forward to that it's also assumed to be in late 2019. Well, all we know is 2019, period. But it's hard to say when, and I kind of wanted to know exactly when Pokemon is coming out because I feel like it's a safe bet that both games wouldn't come out on the same month. It's not a guarantee, but what do you think?
So I think because Pokemon is the only game with that late 2019 kind of, I guess, moniker put behind it,
Hmm.
I believe that that's going to be the last game of the year, the last Nintendo game of
Oh.
the year. So whatever happens, I would think we're going to get Animal Crossing before Pokemon, be it Pokemon comes out November or December. A lot of people are saying November. I keep saying, I don't know, December seems like a month for for it to come out, especially because the last 2 years in a row, we have gotten a December game from Nintendo. We have gotten Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in December and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate in December. And so, I don't know, I feel like following it up with a Pokemon game, you're just getting a lot of heavy hitters at the end. Though, I mean, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, it sold over 1 million copies, but it's not touching like the Smash Bros. And Pokemon
Right,
genres.
right,
But
right.
but regardless of that, like, I don't know, I still see it being kind of that first week of December.
Nice, nice. I'm almost with you. I just have them switched. I think Pokemon will be the November game. Um, I mean, that's how it's been for the last couple of big releases. But counterpoint to my own point is that even the Smash Brothers came out on December. So even one of Nintendo's biggest sellers, they're not afraid of, if they need to, not publish or release it, the week before Thanksgiving and the big holiday sales. They're okay with releasing it the first week of December. So the same thing could happen, I think, for either Pokemon or Animal Crossing.
Yeah, and I know there will be a November game. Be it Animal Crossing or Pokemon,
Yes.
whatever happens, there will be a November game because Black Friday is always a big sales day for Nintendo. They don't discount anything, but still manage to sell like crazy.
Yes.
Well, they do tiny discounts on the eShop at least. But that's existing games for existing Switch owners. But yeah, at November there will be a game, and whether it's Animal Crossing or Pokemon, we have yet to see. But me just seeing that Pokemon is placed as late 2019, and all the other games that have been announced that haven't gotten a date, such as Zelda, Animal Crossing, Luigi's Mansion 3, those have all just been placed as 2019, not late 2019. So I don't know.
Right.
For me, I'm thinking it might be the last game of the year, but also like on your point where it's November. I mean, if it comes out in November, then Animal Crossing could come out before November,
Oh, that's true. Definitely true.
which I'm 100% fine with. Though I say I put Animal Crossing kind of in that November time range, I would not complain if it came out sooner. Of course not. I'd be crazy too. Yeah. So what are you thinking? Do you think it's gonna be the last game too, or what do you? I don't know.
No, I think it's gonna be the November 15 game, and then Animal Crossing is probably gonna be in December. And I know this may sound a little strange. I hope it's that way. I hope there's enough gap between Pokemon and Animal Crossing. And I want Pokemon first because then I will play it. If it's Animal Crossing first, then I cannot guarantee it. And it would bother me a lot because it looks awesome, but I may have to skip it.
That's true. Yeah, Pokemon game, any game after Animal Crossing is going to not be on our minds at all for like a year.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm going to be obsessed with it. I think a lot of us are going to be obsessed with it, and it's just going to take over our lives, and we're not going to be thinking about other games at that point.
Right, right. I don't think we would. If we did, it would be very limited. We would play other games maybe like half an hour a day in between Animal Crossing, or we would just put them aside and then play them years later, and they just wouldn't have the same impact. So I kind of really want Pokemon first. Here's hoping.
Yeah, but then also, I don't know, I feel like Animal Crossing, I mean, the first month, maybe the first 3 months are pretty busy for hardcore players,
Mhm.
but I feel like at some point you reach that, like, okay, what's my daily routine? I can do this routine in like an hour, and then I have time for other games,
Right.
you know? So, I mean, even if Animal Crossing, say, came out in September, you'd have September, October, November, and then by then you would have some, I guess, time for Pokemon.
A little bit, yes.
But probably not with us.
You know what
um,
else I was thinking? So in last year, 2018, there were two Switch bundles with like special colors or designs. There was one for Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and one for Smash Brothers. I'm thinking this year it's gonna be Pokemon and Animal Crossing.
Oh, that could be it. I'm for sure getting whatever Switch is Animal Crossing themed.
Yes.
Because I need those Joy-Con. I need the dock. I need everything Animal Crossing. So yeah, I don't know. I would love to see those two bundles. I'd have to skip the Pokemon one, but Animal Crossing for sure.
Right. Nice.
So let's actually go into our main topic. We spent a while just talking about Pokemon and Animal Crossing. I feel like our fandoms overlap a lot, so it's fine.
Yes.
But the Nintendo Switch, today as we're recording, is now 2 years old. For everybody else, it's been 2 days since its birthday, and that's fine. Because this just happens to go up 2 days after. But the Nintendo Switch is 2 years old, and Sergio and I really wanted to go over some quick things regarding that. For example, we're going to talk about our favorite Nintendo Switch games, our favorite Switch moments, and finally, what we're most looking forward to this year for the Switch. So, Sergio, let's start with you. What are your favorite Nintendo Switch games?
So some of my favorites are, well, they tend to be the games that I play the most. And I guess my current craze is still Rocket League. I play it every day pretty much, at least an hour, usually early in the mornings. And it's just really nice, very addictive. And unlike my second most played game, which is Splatoon 2, I feel like I'm still getting better at Rocket League. So, as long as that keeps happening, I'm gonna keep playing. But yeah, the next one would be Splatoon 2. I was that was my prior craze, and I played almost 700 hours total. And I ended up getting all three different versions of the game so that I could play the different Splatfest. And I do still play it during Splatfest, so it's definitely still a favorite of mine.
I love that. I still play tons of Splatoon too. I'm going to do it a little bit less, just because it keeps me from getting through my backlog. And you and I have talked about this before, but there are games that I own that I really want to play, but I'm not going to care as soon as Animal Crossing comes out. So I'm on a time limit right now. I need to beat these games. Otherwise, I don't know when it's going to happen. They're just going to sit there for a very long time. And it's because I'm busy. So yeah, my number one is Splatoon right now. That's my second favorite Nintendo game of all time. But right now, since we don't have an Animal Crossing on the Switch, it is my favorite game right now.
Right. Nice.
Yeah. So I'm always happy to play that. And if you ever want to play, just let me know. I'll play up until I guess tomorrow for all you listeners, because I have decided to give it up for Lent just because I always pick it up to play instead of other games. And then on top of that, I watch it constantly on YouTube and Twitch. So though I still have not caught up to hours on with you, Sergio,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like my hours of just watching it alone have way surpassed everything. So yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. Other games, I guess I'll go through these three really quickly. They're all indie games. Very small teams,
true.
very in some cases very, very small person. Just one person working on it. But they are Night in the Woods, Celeste, and Stardew Valley. They're all pretty different. Night in the Woods is great. I think it's one of the best written games that I've ever played. Every line of dialogue is very captivating in that game. It's a really fun story. It's emotional and quirky, and it has a great art style. Celeste, I want to write an essay about Celeste. But I fear that I won't be able to do it justice, so I always hold back from doing it. But Celeste is a must play. It's so difficult, but it's very accessible for people who aren't that skilled with like 2D platformers. But I don't know. I feel like the difficulty is part of what makes the game so great at expressing the idea that it wants to express.
Mm.
And then finally, the last little indie game is Stardew Valley. I tell everybody it took me about 20 hours to really get into Stardew Valley. But I saw the potential there the entire time, and I was just like, I feel like I know how to enjoy this game, but I haven't quite figured it out. But eventually I did figure it out, and then after those 20 hours passed, I put in another 100 very easily.
Nice.
Yeah, so they're both fun. And Stardew Valley, it's more of a life sim. It's a farm simulator, to be exact, but so it might fill that need for people who are Animal Crossing fans who are waiting for a game. Waiting for Animal Crossing, but overall, it is different. And like I said, it took me a while to get into, and yeah, maybe one day I'll do an in-depth on that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so what are some of your other games, Sergio?
So a couple others is a rhythm game called Super Beat Sonic. This one was released on other systems, I think 1 or 2 years ago, and they made it on the Switch. It's I really like it, and I actually tend to always go back to this game whenever I'm testing audio equipment or like new speakers or headphones. And yeah, it has a really like electronic dubstep EDM type of soundtrack, and it's really good, very addictive gameplay. And the other two are classic multiplayer games on the Switch. First, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which I feel like I already played more on the Switch than I did on the Wii U, and it's a great game on either system. I think it's the best Mario Kart easily, and it's a lot of fun, especially playing online with everyone. It's so much fun. And the other was a really nice surprise on year one of the Switch. I'm talking about ARMS. It was a very nice multiplayer game. It kind of feels like the game got better with DLC that they added. They kind of stopped putting out DLC, I think a little bit abruptly. I think they wanted to do more, but the game didn't sell so well. And I think part of that is because it came out a month before Splatoon 2. And pretty much a lot of us, including I think you and me, we just shifted over to Splatoon 2.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun with ARMS when it was out that first month, but
Right.
I have not touched it as much since then. So you're and it's definitely because of Splatoon. Like, you're spot on there.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I guess my last game was Mario and Rabbids. I have always been like a strategy RPG fan. I like RPGs in general. And Mario and Rabbids, when I saw that idea, I think I was one of the few who was like, man, this is quirky and I'm into it. I
Right.
can see how weird it is, but I appreciate that a lot. But yeah, playing it's a solid game. I have bought the DLC, but haven't played it yet. It's one of my backlog things, and one of the games I'm excited to go back to, especially now that I'm giving up Splatoon.
Oh, nice.
For at least the next 40 days or so,
Right.
Yeah. So, what are your favorite Nintendo Switch moments?
They tend to be pretty much any time that I played on handheld mode. I mostly play at home and I play in docked mode. So whenever I'm actually out and about and playing in handheld mode, it's so impressive that you're basically taking the console experience with you wherever you go. And I always feel like those commercials that Nintendo shows people, oh, let's go here, let's go get a coffee, and then they just grab the Switch and take it. It really is like that. It's pretty awesome to take it with you, and you're still having whatever you were playing. You can play any multiplayer games, and it's all there. It's a beautiful screen. It's a great portable. The battery life is good enough. There were issues, I think, back then when they said, oh, 3 hours maybe not good enough. But I think we've come to a good point where we know how much battery we're going to get, and everyone has a battery pack or two. So no complaints. The Switch as a portable is awesome.
Yeah, and mine is actually pretty related to yours. It's that I was very happy to see people understanding the concept once they finally got their hands on the Switch. Because when I saw it, I was just like, this is the most perfect console to really combine everything Nintendo. Because I've never just bought one Nintendo console. I've always bought their handheld and their home console pretty consistently, and to finally have that both in one package, I was just like, this is brilliant. This takes every Nintendo game that I've always loved and puts it in one place, and now I can get all of these different styles of play that have existed, but for some reason are mutually exclusive, which
Right.
when they
Yes.
don't have to be. So, like an example is like Animal Crossing for a lot of people is a handheld game, and it's mostly because the majority of people who've played it on a handheld. But for me, I'm always like, man, but like you got to play it on a TV at some point
Yes.
because that is just really nice. And to know that people have the option to do both, and ultimately they'll play in the way they prefer, and that's fine. But
Mhm.
just having the option to do both and experience both is great. Because me, I'm going to play it everywhere. I'm going to play it on my TV. I'm going to play it in handheld. I'm going to play it everywhere. so,
Nice.
so yeah, I was really happy to see the overall public just like really latch on to the concept of the Switch.
Yes, definitely.
And finally, the most important question of all, Sergio, what are you most looking forward to with the Nintendo Switch this year?
Definitely Animal Crossing. This is the year, we've been waiting since last year when they announced it. We just want a date and we'll wait patiently. But I do have a small note to that. And like I said earlier, I just really want Pokemon before Animal Crossing so that I can really take my time with Pokemon and enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. 100% Animal Crossing Switch. It's going to be so great. And I will say, this whole starting last year, I really started to think that 2019 would be my favorite year in gaming, and so far it is. With everything that's coming out, of course, I've started hitting my backlog a lot more, so I haven't gotten to actually get the 2019 games, but the promise of what's to come is really exciting to me. And
Yes.
of course, Animal Crossing on top of that is the only thing I would ever ask for.
Yes. Right, right.
Yeah, so let's get back on track with Animal Crossing. And because it is the 2 year, I guess, anniversary of the Switch, it's 2 years old, it got me thinking. How long does it take for an Animal Crossing to be released on a console? Regardless of if it's handheld or a home console, I decided to do some research. And so, are you ready for my findings, Sergio?
Yes, it looks very interesting.
Yeah, so hopefully you all don't mind all of these numbers and everything, but I've gone through every console that has gotten an Animal Crossing game, and maybe some that haven't. We'll see. But I have gone through and I've took their first release date, their very earliest release date,
Hmm.
and then I took the earliest release date of an Animal Crossing game. And then I took those two dates and just saw how long the wait was between that console release and an Animal Crossing release.
Right, gotcha.
So I started way back with the N64. For those of you who don't know, Animal Crossing originally came out on the N64 in Japan, but
Hmm.
a lot of us most commonly know it as for GameCube, right?
Right.
So
Yes.
N64, that first released on June 23rd, 1996. I think that was the Japanese date.
Hmm.
And Animal Crossing came out on April 14th, 2001. So it was nearly a 5-year wait, but the wait was 4 years, 9 months, and 22 days. I will tell you
Oof.
that this is an outlier for sure. Just because it was very late game N64, like it was intended to be for the Nintendo DD or the disk drive.
Right.
And yeah, so essentially that came out very late in the N64's lifespan, and it was mostly to really compete with PlayStation because PlayStation overtook Nintendo big time with their disc instead of cartridge usage.
Yes.
Like if you go look at console sales, the N64 got destroyed. The Switch has already sold more than the N64 has,
Yes.
which is always surprising to me because I feel like it's such a it's a console that people look back to fondly, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah. So anyways, the GameCube, I will warn you, this is also going to be an outlier because the GameCube released on September 14th, 2001, and then Animal Crossing got a game on there 3 months later, December 14th, 2001. So from September to December, people only had to wait 3 months to get an Animal Crossing game.
Hmm.
The explanation for that is definitely because this was just a port of the N64 version of the game.
Okay, right.
Yeah, it was their first version of Animal Crossing in Japan in GameCube was not the GameCube version that we got.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, the GameCube version we got was updated from then.
Hmm.
So anyways, those first two are outliers with 5 years and 3 months. Very big differences there. But now we get into some more normal things. So the Nintendo DS was the next system to get Animal Crossing. They got Wild World. The DS was released on November 21st, 2004, and then Animal Crossing came out November 23rd, 2005, so just 1 year and 2 days later. So that was a quick wait.
Yes. Hmm.
And then, so from there, the Wii was released on November 19th, 2006, and Animal Crossing came out on November 16th, 2008. So almost 2 years, not quite, but it was 1 year, 11 months, and 28 days.
Hmm.
Then the 3DS came out, and I always talk about the wait for the 3DS Animal Crossing, because it was a 3-year wait for us. But we got to remember, one of those years, the 3DS wasn't even out.
Yes.
But regardless, the release date for the 3DS was February 26th, 2011. Animal Crossing came out for the first time on November 8th, 2012. So it was a 1 year, 8 months, and 13-day wait. So yeah, Japan got it pretty quickly, like
Yeah.
under 2 years. I was surprised to see that was the case with that version.
Yeah.
Yeah, New Leaf was, yeah, I'm jealous. And then the Wii U, that came out on November 18th, 2012, and we did not get a single Animal Crossing game for that. There was 0 Animal Crossing on the Wii U. It doesn't exist at all. So the wait is ongoing, and it's never going to end. And trust me, don't look it up. There's no Animal Crossing on the Wii U. I'm warning you all. Don't look at it. And then finally, the Nintendo Switch was released on March 3rd, 2017, exactly 2 years ago for us, Sergio.
Yes.
2 years and 2 days for everybody listening. And so that puts our wait at 2 years and 2 days for an Animal Crossing game, which is so far the longest wait since I guess the City Folk version, if we're not counting N64, which was almost a 5-year wait.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so just to recap, the shortest wait was 3 months. That's an outlier. The longest wait was 4 years, 9 months, and 22 days. Also an outlier.
Right.
If we ignore those two, the shortest wait was 1 year and 2 days. The longest wait was 2 years, or 2 years and 2 days, which is the Switch currently.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Our average amount of time, or average days waited for an Animal Crossing to release on a console is 715.5, or 1 year, 11 months, and 15 and a half days. Ignoring the outliers, though, it's 611.5 days, or 1 year and 8 months. So we're already over that amount of time.
Right, exactly.
Which is a bummer. We should have Animal Crossing now.
Especially because, like you said, there's no Animal Crossing on the Wii U at all. So the fact that they skipped a generation, a system, you would expect the next mainline game to come out sooner on the next console, which would be the Switch.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, we were all expecting a Wii U Animal Crossing game. That never happened. And one would think that maybe they were developing it at that point. They must have been, but they just weren't. They knew the Wii U was failing, and they were saving it for the next console. And I don't know. It just seems like a bummer to have to wait this long, especially off a console that should have gotten one.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so Sergio, you have made a prediction for what date we will get Animal Crossing. Let us know what that day is and how long the wait would have been.
So my prediction date for Animal Crossing for this year, end of the year, last month of the year, is December 6th, 2019. And if that happens to be the release date, the wait between when the Switch came out and when the game comes out, it would be 2 years, 9 months, and 2 days, which is way too long.
It's so long. It's almost 3 years at that point.
Yeah.
This is the same wait I've had for New Leaf. Only, yeah,
True. Yeah.
it's rough. Okay. So my date, I'm sticking to the date that I've been putting out there, November 15th, 2019. And if
Hmm.
it comes out then, the wait will have been 2 years, 8 months, and 12 days. So a little bit shorter, but not
Right.
short enough, Sergio, not short enough.
No, right. And
Yes.
you know, it makes me wonder. So, if they really were making an Animal Crossing game for the Wii U, I guess the only reason why that one getting halted in the Switch not getting an Animal Crossing game so soon, maybe it was an updated New Leaf, and so they might have scrapped that in the fact that they had to start kind of fresh on a new one. That's why it's taking longer.
That is very true. I mean, we did see absolutely nothing on Wii U, so
Hmm.
ignore what I'm about to say, but we did see HD models for every character in Animal Crossing, you know? Um, so they exist. Like at least some assets existed, but
Hmm.
those probably did just amount to a New Leaf 2 type of thing or just an updated New Leaf, which I think if we got that now, I'd be more upset than if we got it then.
Yes.
Right
Yes,
now,
exactly.
I would just be I want to see an actual updated Animal Crossing versus an updated New Leaf, you know? Like I
Yes,
want to see something
especially
that takes it the next step.
yes, especially because it's almost gonna be a 3 year wait.
Yeah, which is, like I think the wait for New Leaf, though it was very long, though we went through a lot of pain going through it, it paid off. Like New Leaf is such
Hmm.
a good game that I was willing to forgive that wait forever after I played it, you know?
Yes.
So, even though we're waiting a very long time, as long as we get the best Animal Crossing game that we've ever gotten to date, then I'm in. I don't care how long we wait. I mean, I do care, but still, I would forgive them. Yeah. So, were there any surprises for you when you looked through this data?
No, I do remember the wait for between the DS and Wild World, and it was pretty quick. But also the fact that New Leaf really wasn't that long, but only for Japan. Like you said, it kind of makes you jealous. But when we consider that the Switch is gonna be the same weight, or it's assumed to be the same weight for all the regions in Pokemon is gonna be the same weight too. So it adds weight to that assumption. I mean, we're just gonna be waiting, and we're not gonna be waiting any more than 7 months from now. I guess that's the best thing.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Like, the wait is only getting shorter at this point. We still have yet to see the game, but when we do, I think we'll be pleasantly surprised. I mean, some people are going to be disappointed who still think it's going to be coming out way earlier than I think it is at this point. But I think we'll be pleasantly surprised and be able to think, like, okay, I can wait 5 months. I can wait however long that is. Like, that doesn't seem as bad as we just don't know right now.
Yes, right.
hmm So, yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm excited. Like, we're still pumping out content about this. And honestly, I feel like I'm going to be overwhelmed by the amount of things we'll be able to do once,
Yes.
especially like what we're going to be talking about on this podcast, the videos we're going to be making. We're just going to be pumping out content with this game.
Yes.
And it'll be a lot of fun, but also be like, man, we already make so much now. It's going to be crazy once we actually have a game out that's current.
Right, right. This is like preparation for.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And I'm really excited about your project about filming and recording every single moment of gameplay. Because that's like a dream. Like being able to go back at the end of your life and just be like, all right, I'm going to spend the rest of my life just watching every single thing I did in Animal Crossing. That's how I want to retire. I think that's good.
Yeah, you don't need a TiVo at that point.
Yeah, you have all the entertainment you could possibly need. Yeah, so it's gonna be cool. Anyways, let's get into our Haken's Villager Corner. This week we are keeping with this Nintendo themed. For those of you who don't know, Haken's Villager Corner is a topic we go over every single week. We ask our patrons a question on Patreon, they answer, and we share it here. So this is a patron special, so yeah, this is just a reward we give them to make their voices heard. So this week's question was, what are some Nintendo-themed items you'd like to see in Animal Crossing Switch? So we've always gotten tons of Nintendo-themed items, from the NES consoles in population growing to even Nintendogs that were added in the Welcome Amiibo update. We are constantly given Nintendo in our Nintendo. So,
Yes.
Sergio, what's something that you would want to see in this next game?
So if it's okay with you, I sort of have two answers, but the second one you'll understand why it's a little bit tricky. So the first one, and now that it happened in Pocket Camp, I want to see Pokemon items in Animal Crossing.
Definitely. I can't believe it took till Pocket Camp to get some. That's
Right.
crazy to me.
Yeah, I think those would be really well received, and like you said, Pokemon and Animal Crossing they just sort of relate a lot. In yeah, I think it would make a lot of sense. And the second one is actually Animal Crossing themed items. And what I mean by that is I want the special characters to have their own furniture series. You know, the KK set, the Isabel set, things like that. I think they can work it.
I'm into that. I am so into that. I would love to get like KK special furniture. That would look so, it'd be like musical and amazing. It's everything I could ever ask for. Yeah, I love that. I'm into it. For me, I said this earlier, my number 2 game is Splatoon. My number 2
Ooh.
franchise for, I guess, Nintendo games is Splatoon. So I would like to see, like, we did get some Splatoon items added through the Welcome Amiibo update, but I think it'd be fun to see a little bit more. Especially like through the fortune cookies and everything. You can get some cool little outfits that are inspired by Splatoon, maybe like the hairstyle and everything. The classic like girl inkling hairstyle, you know?
Yes.
But yeah,
Ooh.
I would love to see more of the outfits come by, I think, because we have gotten some items. Even Pocket Camp got a lot of really good Splatoon items. Maybe just adding those even would be okay. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Splatoon, and I would like to see more of that.
Yeah, oh, that makes so much sense, especially because we know that in some strange shape or form that we don't know all the details, but there is proof that some of the development team they do share making Animal Crossing in the Splatoon series, so hopefully they do combine the items too.
Yeah, I'm convinced like the whole style of Splatoon where you have different gear and clothing and things, I'm convinced that was inspired by the Animal Crossing team members that went to move and went to work on that game, you know?
Yes, exactly.
So, yeah, I'm convinced. They share a bond for me. Yeah, so let's go ahead and go back and forth with these. I'll go ahead and start. We've got Dragon, who says, I'd like to see the little souvenirs from Odyssey that you decorate the Odyssey with maybe make their way into Animal Crossing. They'd make for some pretty awesome set pieces. I'd love a T-Rex in my room. That's a really good idea too. Like, we got a lot of really cool little things from Odyssey, and I think a lot of the items would fit well, you know?
Yes, and Mario items are always pretty much a given, so I think this is a very safe bet.
Yeah, for sure.
The next answer is by Grizzly Nina, and she says, I got pretty bored of the generic Nintendo items you could buy from the fortune cookies in New Leaf, but I thought the new villagers they introduced through amiibo compatibility were so much fun. Having an Epona villager was the cutest. I'd love to see more integration like that. Yes, this is an awesome idea. If they could add special villagers through amiibo from man, I'm already imagine a Star Fox, a Fox McCloud villager. That'd be great.
Yeah, and we don't currently get Fox villagers. Like, it would be a really good reimagining of Star
Yeah.
Fox, you know? Yeah, I'm into that. I always thought, like, they should have made. I mean, I'm sure that takes a lot of work, but I want to see more of the amiibo work on Animal Crossing for sure.
Yes, yes.
So Tab says, more Yoshi. I love Yoshi as much as a kid and still do now. I would always pick Yoshi over Princess Peach in Mario Kart. I would love to have more Yoshi items in my Animal Crossing town. A Yoshi stuffed animal would be fun, especially if Cyrus could change the color. Oh, that's true.
Yes, yeah.
And we do kind of have like the Yarn Yoshi amiibo. That would be a good thing to add to the
Oh.
game, like having little. Oh my gosh, I want to collect amiibo figures in Animal Crossing.
Oh.
That's the
Yes.
Nintendo crossover I need now. Especially because like I'm more and more I'm like, do I really want all the Smash amiibo anymore? Not really. I'm thinking about like selling a lot of them at this point and
Oh,
just
wow.
keeping my favorite characters. But if I could buy them in Animal Crossing, you know I'm going to have a whole shelf full of them.
Nice. In Cyrus for sure he would be the custom amiibo painter.
Yeah, especially with some of them that have the alternate versions and things like that.
Yes.
It would work.
Yes, definitely. Next we have Emily with one Y. I believe this is Emily and a cookie.
Yeah.
And she says, some Splatoon 2 items would be great. I'd love some Pearl and Marina hairstyle items. So she definitely agrees with you. In with a lot of us, Splatoon 2, just Splatoon content in Animal Crossing, it's just they go together.
Yeah, and I like that we both went the same direction with it, where we want kind of more of the style of Splatoon to be added to the game.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I really like that too. Sully says, a villager named after Reggie would be cute and timely addition. Would be a cute and timely addition. Oh my goodness, yes. This is going to be a spoiler, but I have to tell you all. Back in the beginning of Animal Crossing New Leaf, we got Spot Pass in that game, and the Spot Pass usually shared a home in our Happy Home showcase. One of those was Reggie.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have Reggie's home in my Animal Crossing showcase. I'm going to do a video to show it off, kind of as
Oh.
a tribute to Reggie. Since he is going away, I'm going to say, look, Reggie, you always have a home here in Haken. So there's my
That's
spoiler for
awesome.
the day. But yeah, a lot of people who missed that opportunity just like don't know / have never seen Reggie's home there. So yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to make
yeah,
that
good
soon.
point. That's so awesome. Next we have an answer by Emmy. The answer is, I always thought a squid villager based off the Inklings squid forms would be cute. Or maybe Pokemon villagers. As for actual items, Pokemon would probably be my choice. If I can fit a giant Snorlax plushie in my room in real life, at least give me one in Animal Crossing. Oh, yes, that would be awesome. Like, if they do a lot of plushies in Animal Crossing, Pokemon would definitely be the biggest ones.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I remember, was it Diamond and Pearl in Pokemon where you got the underground kind of bases?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I just filled mine with stuffed animals of Pokemon. And so I would do that with one of my rooms in Animal Crossing for sure.
Yes.
So Arden and Herman say, Korok and Guardian anything. Cappy hat and any other clothing from Odyssey. It would be cool to catch the fish from Super Mario Bros. Yeah,
Oh,
we have not gotten like Zelda things yet, or at least Zelda answers from people, which I'm surprised because uh, it's a great series. It's a great franchise that a lot of people love too. So having a guardian in your home would be both frightening and the coolest thing. So I would love that.
Oh. Yeah, and imagine if they do add the fish from Mario and also from Zelda as actual fish for you to get. That's awesome.
Yeah, that would be a fun little tribute to those games.
Yeah. Next, we have Grace, or a penguin named Abraham. And they say, in general, I'd love to see stuff from Breath of the Wild in Odyssey. And I feel like we will. I really love a wearable cappy or an umbrella that looks like the Breath of the Wild paraglider. Yeah, and
Oh.
I definitely think these are for sure because it's the latest mainline Mario and Zelda games, and they just have great items to feature in Animal Crossing.
Yeah, and now I want that umbrella for sure. And the hat. I want a cappy hat.
Yes.
It'd be great if you could throw it too, just to like keep
Oh,
that. And like it probably wouldn't do anything, but it would let
right.
you like throw it and be a little boomerang for you. So Lyalatron says, "I'd like to see Final Fantasy items come to the game, as many of the games are coming out on the Switch. Two items in particular I'd like to see would be Cloud's Buster Sword and a Vivi figurine." Now
Oh.
this one, I'm always surprised at how Square Enix is kind of holding on to Fire Emblem things, or not, sorry, Final Fantasy things, because
Hmm.
Smash came out and they only put like what, two songs in that game
Yes, exactly.
out, and I mean they give you the biggest Final Fantasy character, and then that's all they can give you on top of that. Come on,
Right.
like they're being a little stingy. So I would hope for them to give us some things, but yeah, I feel like they're gonna be tough cookies to break in that front.
Yeah, but imagine a Chocobo villager.
Oh man, it would be so cute. I love
And
chocobos.
yes, in a Moogle.
Oh yes,
They
even
just go
cuter.
there.
Yeah, I love that.
Ah, hopefully. Next, we have an answer by Sarah, and she says, I'd like to see the Nintendo theme items from Pocket Camp make an appearance. We've got Pokeballs, EB plushies, and the EB onesie costume, the Splatoon items and Inkling wigs, all of the different game consoles, the red and white Nintendo walls, and so on. It would be really cool to see all of these plus more in the Switch version. Yes, Pokemon just has to in the EV costumes, the onesie and the plushie, the humongous one. Ah, those would be so good.
Yeah, there. Like I said, there's so much overlap between the fan bases. Like we love Pokemon, we love Animal Crossing, and I don't think if they both even come out next to each other, I don't think it's going to stop very many people from getting both games. Um,
Yes.
and yeah, so we just need Pokemon items in there. There's a lot of love for Pokemon in Animal Crossing fandom.
Yes.
So Trevi Boo says, I really enjoyed reminiscing on the feeling I felt when we saw the Link costume reveal in the New Leaf trailer. Oh, yes,
Hmm.
I love that. So I think more Nintendo themed costumes or clothing articles would excite me. Any Nintendo themed item with functionality would also be exciting to have in the home, like Mario Kart beds would be a fun idea. And lastly, I'd like to see more Nintendo items involved in villagers' homes, like how we got Nintendo themed villagers in the Welcome Amiibo update, or similarly to when villagers like Cube wore the GameCube shirt in Population
Ah.
Growing. Yeah, definitely. Like, I want to see some of those special items and, like, Nintendo, I guess, fandom in the characters in Animal Crossing.
Yes.
I think that'd be just a really fun addition to the game.
Yeah, and if they add a lot of that, like every villager could have a favorite Nintendo game. That
Yeah.
could even be like a mini game.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Nice. The next answer is by VerityB, and the answer is they could add some new Breath of the Wild items, like Arden and Herman mentioned, maybe a Korok or Guardian statue. I love Koroks, and I think it would be cute if we could collect the different versions. Maybe when you click on them, they say their special phrase. Yeah, and they could have the little sound effects too.
Oh yeah, the Koroks are adorable. I know a lot of people complained about there being so many Koroks in Breath of the Wild, but I think more than anything, what kept me exploring was just like I wanted to find them all.
Oh,
I mean, I never did, but I liked finding them when I did do find them.
yes.
So I'm into that. Jam says Hetsu's gift, the trolliest item in Breath of the Wild. So just what I was talking about. When you do find all of the Korok seeds, you get Hetsu's gift, which if you don't know, it I think is just poop. It's just Korok poop. So, Nintendo really did us over with that one.
Nice. The next answer is by Rain. And the answer is, when it comes to which Nintendo brand translates well into Animal Crossing, my vote would be Kirby. The Kirby games are really super bright and colorful, and the fluffy and whimsical designs wouldn't look out of place at all in the game. It would be fun to see furniture and clothes from the franchise incorporated into the game through events or fortune cookies. Another idea is to have villagers that look like the Star Allies, kind of like Animal Crossing and Sanrio villagers we had in New Leaf. Also hoping off-brand crossovers just like that one are more common too. Yes, definitely. Kirby would be great, and just having more crossovers with any kind of Nintendo franchise or even third parties, anything, the more the merrier.
Yeah, and like Animal Crossing has had some weird crossovers, like the 7-Eleven crossover and the Monster Hunter crossover. Not only did Animal Crossing get like Monster Hunter items, but I think you could have Isabelle in a Monster Hunter game, like kind
Yes,
of follow
exactly.
you around. That's weird. That's not normal. So I don't know. I'm down to see some weird crossovers, and also crossovers that make sense.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm down for it. So Bunny says, I would love to have more Splatoon themed items. Since a portion of the Animal Crossing team worked on Splatoon, I think there's a nice connection there. I'd love to see some of the clothes from the game come across, rather than just the ink splatter things. The Takoroka windbreaker that was a reward in Pocket Camp is seriously stylish. I'd also be keen to see some crafted Yoshi style furniture. It would be nice to have a set that looks handmade and cardboardy.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. So I mean we've shared a lot of love for Splatoon. Of course we want more of that. But also like having kind of the craft Yoshi crafted world type of
Yes.
items, that would be cute.
Yes, definitely Yoshi items would be great. Even complete sets, like you said. Yeah, for sure. And the last answer for this week is by Medi. And the answer is more Kirby items. Also more Pokemon stuff. And yeah, I think these two franchises are great. Anything that is very colorful and bright, it just goes with Animal Crossing. I think especially Pokemon for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, there's a lot of love for Kirby, a lot of love for Pokemon, and a lot of love for just Nintendo in general. I will say, and the Nintendo items are consistently popular in Animal Crossing. I would always go to Comic Con, and anytime I went, I would get tons and tons of street pass. I would see tons of houses in my Happy Home showcase.
Mhm.
And consistently, the room I saw more than anything was a Nintendo themed room. And
Right.
so, yeah, people love those items. I know Nintendo is clearly a fan of Nintendo, so it makes sense for them to put Nintendo items in Animal Crossing. So I'm
Yes.
excited to see whatever new stuff they come up with.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm excited. We have a lot to look forward to. I can't get over it. It's too good.
Right, especially, I mean, sadly, it's been so long between mainline Animal Crossing games. They have a lot of new content to cover with Nintendo items.
Yeah. Yeah. So much new stuff in the Switch alone. And it's only
Yes.
been 2 years. In 2 years, we've gotten so many big games. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this year. I think we're going to get a lot more games that I've been really wanting,
Mhm.
on the Switch. So I think the catalog is about to get filled out really well. And after this year, the Switch is a must pick up console. Like everybody needs to get one.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, especially all of you Animal Crossing fans who are waiting for Animal Crossing. Yes, we will get Animal Crossing, but there will also be a whole lot of other games that you can enjoy. So it's really a must pick up. All right, everybody. So thank you so much for listening. If you want to be part of the conversation on all things Animal Crossing, please join our Discord. I have a link in the description of this podcast. It's totally free to join. You don't have to be a patron. And if you do join, you can get Sergio and my friend codes. If you do want to become a patron, visit patreon.com/ChewiePlaysNintendo for just $1. You can support our show, get tons of cool things, and you can see our current goals to improve the show and our content. We try to really make it worth it because we truly appreciate your guys' support. If you are watching or listening on YouTube, please leave a comment about your favorite Switch moments and what Nintendo items you'd like to see in Animal Crossing. Please leave a review of the show wherever you're listening. It helps the show gain some visibility and allows our community to grow. And once again, thank you for listening, and we hope you have a great week.
Goodbye, everybody.